Conspiracy Couch returns with the Great Flat Earth Debate. I am your host, Alara of Sirius, here with my co-host, Loyal to the Foil.
What up, peeps?
Can I get a 5x5 in the chat if we are up on all platforms live and our audio is good? Ooh, I better move my mic. Yeah, Conspiracy Couch returns after I don't even know how long it's been. Welcome to the Flat Earth peeps.
The resurrection.
Tonight we have two wonderful guests on. Mark Sargent and David Weiss. Say hello, gentlemen.
Have to unmute myself.
Yeah,
Hi, everybody. What's going on?
It's the mute button, Mark.
Hello. I am Mark Sargent, and I am not from this agency. Yes.
That works.
Right.
We are also not from this agency.
We got 5x5s in the chat, so it looks like everything's good. How are you, gentlemen? It is so wonderful to have you on the show. This is going to be epic.
Looking forward to the conversation.
Space people and flat earth people all in one place. You know, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So it looks good. Okay, so let me just thank super chats from the last show and donations. Wesley for his donation. Thank you, Brooke Van Horn, Kathleen Unger, Above Duality, White Hat, and Christina Love. Thank you so much. Welcome to all the new friends. It's good to see you guys. People. Yeah, this is going to be a blast. So,
right,
where should we begin? Let's see.
Well, it's all love.
Yeah.
We welcome all conspiracies on the couch.
Yes.
And Mark and I think I could speak on behalf of Mark that we do not look down upon you because you believe you live in a spinning ball flying through an infinite vacuum.
Right.
Okay. We don't.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you, David.
That.
We appreciate it.
That's all we can ask is for your acceptance, sir.
That's right.
Death to all who oppose us.
Oh, we will be assimilated. I feel it coming.
By the way, who did your X-Files knockoff intro?
Oh man, we had to search for a minute to find that. Yeah, right. I love it. We haven't heard it in a while.
Mm-hmm.
We miss it.
Yeah,
right?
We miss Conspiracy Couch. This is always a fun show. So yeah, we're going to be talking here for a little while, you guys, and then we're going to start taking call-ins. The mods should have. They're already starting with the space is fake. The mods should have the meeting ID and password. It is also up on the screen, as you can see. So just let me know, mods, if for some reason you didn't catch that, but I'm pretty sure you guys have it. So yeah, okay, so let's start, I guess, with you, Mark. How did you get into Flat Earth?
I got into Flat Earth because I was bored with every other conspiracy you could think of. I'm older, so I got on the internet when the internet was new and went down just about every rabbit hole you could think of, but still didn't go down Flat Earth because Flat Earth is stupid. It's ridiculous. No one should ever look into it.
Right.
And I made the mistake of actually spending a weekend and looking at it. And 9 months later, I'm banging my head on the keyboard going, why can't I solve this riddle? So I decided to make a series of videos in the beginning of 2015, February 10th to be exact, and called them Flat Earth Clues. And it was basically my cry for help to the internet. It's like, Internet hive mind, you are wise, you know all. Tell me how I botched this. Tell me how I went wrong. Mm-hmm. And I made a series of videos and put my, which is a really smart thing to do, put all my contact information out there, my real name, social security number, bank routing numbers, the whole thing. Brilliant. Put it out there, expecting someone to call me up and say, okay, here's where you went wrong. You forgot to carry the 2. You can shut down your channel now and go back to your wine and popcorn. That did not happen. The opposite happened, where I had subject matter experts calling me up from all branches of the military, and all these people going, it's not that crazy, man. Here's why. I mean, it just opened this weird Pandora's box. Fast forward 6 years ago, the clues are 6 years old as of February 10th, 6 years ago, and a couple books and a bunch of conferences and a documentary and podcast after podcast after podcast, and here we are. And you found me. How did you run into me?
Well, My dad, we call him the inspector. So my dad, he's been watching flat Earth videos for a long time. He's the one that's like, look, you got to see Mark Sargent's. He's been showing me your videos for like a long time, and I was like,
get a lot of people's dads.
Yeah, so I went out there one day and I was like, yeah, Dad, I'm gonna have Mark on the show. He's like, no way.
Okay, I have a confession. We may or may not have some flat Earth friends that may or may not have also sent us some information, videos, links,
we do
things.
We have a very close friend that's a flat earther.
Right.
Oh, how sad.
Yeah. Right.
Did you lock him away?
So David,
we love everybody.
This is the first show where I wasn't introduced as the special guest. We have a very special guest.
Right?
You are such a special guest to us.
I wrecked David's life.
You guys are holding down the flat Earth narrative. That's quite special.
I was doing a conspiracy podcast and people started suggesting I watch flat Earth stuff, and I just banned them from our social media for being so stupid. And then another researcher said, hey, David, I think the Earth might be flat. And I was like, what do you got? And she sent me Mark's clues. And here I am.
And here you are.
So you guys have never been on together?
We've been on other shows together, but this is the
We've
first
done
video show, I think, or maybe it's been a long time.
We've done a lot of podcasts, but we haven't done a lot of video together.
Oh,
so this is like groundbreaking stuff right here. I'm stoked about it.
And the first time we met was at the conference in Raleigh, the first conference that was in the documentary. Did you guys see the documentary?
Is that?
I believe
Behind
I did.
The Curve.
Yep, I think
was it on YouTube or was that
the Netflix one?
No, it was
I
Netflix.
was going to say that, but I was afraid that it might. Wasn't there also an anti-flat Earth documentary on there, or was that just in general? Okay.
We've got a number. There it is. David's kind of Behind the Curve.
Ta-da!
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
He's got it handled.
That's the one.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
We got a lot of trolls out there. It's a very polarizing.
Believe it or not.
In fact, I'm a little surprised. Well, again, sorry, not to take away from David here really quick, but what was interesting to me was in the conspiracy world, because I was a big conspiracy guy. I have an opinion on every conspiracy you could think of. Some I like, some I don't like. And I remember, I had some friends that were completely convinced that the royal family was made up of lizard people. Like, okay. And I said, hey, what about this?
They might be.
Hey,
I'm not knocking it. I'm not shooting it down.
Can't rule it out.
And I said, hey, how about this flat Earth thing? They go, get the hell out of here. And I go, what are you talking about? You're talking about lizard people. How can you not give me this?
Right.
And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of conspiracy people that just can't quite make the leap because it's so big.
Right. That's the hill they will not die on, for sure.
Good way to put it.
Well,
right now, Larkin Rose is on that hill fighting Karen B. Karen's got the upper ground, and it's not looking pretty.
Really?
We get a play-by-play, please.
There's a battle going on between Karen and Larkin. It's amazing right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, so. I think maybe it's important to point out that there are actually quite a few areas that we completely agree. We definitely think NASA lies. They fake videos, and so does SpaceX for that matter. I mean, we've seen space mice and tissues and shit in space.
Tell them about our mascot, Foil.
Oh yeah, literally, our Space Force News is literally the space mouse from the SpaceX launch. Like we agree with that. We agree that the government is on some BS. They're covering up some stuff for sure, right? I think we just maybe disagree a little bit on which way they're going with it. I don't know.
No, that's fine. Again, hey, you're closer than a lot of people. You got to remember that many of the interviews that David and I do, I mean, the people are like, okay, you're crazy. Convince me you're not.
I told Laura that.
Thank you, Spirish Million, and thank you, Christina Love, for your super chats. Sorry, guys, I didn't
much love
to thank people for super chats. Okay, go ahead.
I told Laura that. I said, listen, normally people come at them all kinds of crazy. This is like conspiracy and conspiracy. This is kind of different. Like I want to understand your model. Right. I want to understand where it works. I have so many questions. Like, I mean, and they're probably questions you guys have answered 100 times. I mean,
that's fine.
Oh. Is there a cohesive model that accounts? Like, is this something that's in progression? Like, how is this? Break it down for me, sir. Break it down.
So there's different opinions. Is the Earth just a domed world, or is it an infinite plane? Are there other puddles? Are there other rings around us? That can all be debated, and they kind of work together. Which one is it? Not sure. But one thing we all agree upon is we're not a spinning ball flying through an infinite universe, spinning, twirling. The heliocentric model is so, I call it the helio-nonsensical model, because you guys know how fast we're spinning on this heliocentric model?
I do.
Spinning at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator.
1,000 miles an hour.
We're orbiting the sun, going faster and slower, right? As we come close to the sun, we speed up and slow down. That's
like
what they tell us.
6,000 miles or whatever.
6,000 miles an hour.
Yeah,
We're chasing the sun at 500,000 miles per hour, and that entire system is moving sideways at 1 or 2 million miles per hour. All of that is happening.
Yeah, it sounds loopy.
Yeah, doesn't that sound crazy? And the stars never change at all. The alignments with the pyramids are still exactly the way they were when they were built, right? You guys know about Stonehenge, right?
Yes.
Not Stonehenge. I mean, the Georgia Guidestones.
Oh yeah. I talk about that.
So that's
quite
a whole nother thing.
actually.
You mean 2021
with the New World Order commandments. So
he's got a slideshow. Look, ready to go.
I know. I'm
people
stoked.
don't
We got
know.
visuals.
Right?
What people don't know is there's a thin hole right in the center stone. It's a long, thin hole, like very narrow. And if you look through it, with all of these motions going on for, traveling billions and trillions of miles, the North Star is always right through that hole. Do a time lapse, it looks like this. And the North Star is through there. If we're spinning, twirling, whirling, and traveling billions and trillions of miles over the decades, how is the North Star still in that hole from the day this thing was built over 40 years ago?
Well, I mean, isn't the entire the entire galaxy is moving allegedly, right?
On top of it, yes.
Right. And then also, I mean, there's a general expansion, right? And it's not just the Earth and the Sun that are moving; like everything is moving. So are these things
how is
supposed
this
to be
still lined up with the North Star?
Not
It's a
only
narrow
that,
hole.
but
It's the only thing you can see.
Yeah, and the zodiacs. The zodiacs have not changed over the
Right.
years. Yes, astrology hasn't changed. The bear is still the bear, and the crabs and it bear?
You go out tonight and look at the stars at a certain time, and go out next year or in 10 years or in 50 years, the stars at that same time on the same night will be in the exact same position, right? That makes no sense. Remember the alignment we had on the 21st of December?
Yes,
all the planets
the Great Conjunction.
How come those gravities didn't tug on each other? How come the sun doesn't tug on the moon or rip the moon away from the earth? How come everything works perfectly and gravity, the Earth's gravity only holds onto the moon, the sun's gravity only holds onto the earth? It ignores all the moons. None of it makes any sense.
So how do you see it? How do you see it working out? I mean, so what are the stars then? I mean, why is it that the people like in the southern hemisphere don't see the same stuff that we see, or like why can only the people in the northern hemisphere see the North Star, or like whatever? You know what I mean? What's going on there?
I'll give you a quick answer and then let Mark go. Imagine we're in a room with 10-foot.
Merkaba?
Yeah.
This is the star Arcturus.
Very interesting.
Our consumer optics have outgrown their lies. All right. Okay. So ignore the flashy star.
Okay. I'm
we're
with
in
you.
a room.
She's hypnotized by it.
We're in a room with recessed lights in the ceiling, 10-foot high ceilings, right? We're in the nice big room. It's empty. And there's the lights are the stars, right? The lights in the ceiling are the stars. Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to expand that room to 20 miles wide, giant room. Okay. And so I'm near the center of the room. We're going to call that the inner north. And I'm going to send you 15 miles away from me in this room, 15 miles away in a room. When you're 15 miles away, the ceiling and the floor, due to perspective, will merge together. We will look and we will not be able to see each other because of perspective. You'll just be too small to see at 15 miles away. Right. So
okay.
So, even in a hallway in Vegas, the ceiling almost touches the floor, but we will not be able to see each other. So that's our horizon. It's just due to perspective. And when I say, all right, look up, you're going to look up and see different stars that I see. I see the lights over here. You see the lights 15 miles away from me. That's how it works. We're just on the opposite sides of the room.
Okay. I have a question. So do you guys believe there's a secret space program?
Yes and no. I'll bring up the Richard Hoagland thing that we talked about briefly.
Oh,
before,
right. Do tell
before
us.
the show started. No, it's okay. It's one of the few things that doesn't really dovetail into flat Earth, at least Richard's model. For those of you who don't know over in chat, I'm not really looking at it that much. Who Richard Hoagland is. He not only believes in the secret space program, but he believes there are millions of people living on the moon and hundreds of thousands of people already living on Mars.
Right.
When he was asked to debate, not video, but just audio with David and I, he bailed at the last minute. He bailed. And I knew why, because there is no common ground in his model. Now, could there be a secret space program? Sure. But David's going to say all their program is secret and it's fake and it's awful. Right. But are there millions of people living on the moon and hundreds of thousands of people living on Mars? No. Let me follow that with this, which is if you go into a planetarium, I know neither of you are old enough to remember planetariums, but it was a thing.
I actually did that.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you like go like during the weekends, like laser?
Oh no! I did. I'm not gonna lie. I did do that, but I also took classes. Yeah, when I was in college, and yes.
Okay, perfect. So when you go to a planetarium and you look up in the sky, it's like, what do you see? You see all sorts of stuff. Is Jupiter a sphere up there? Yes, it is. Can you land on it? No, you can't. Why not? Because it's just an image on the ceiling. The question is, when you walk out of that building, who's to say you're just not in a much, much bigger building? And I have to stipulate for your people, we had nothing to do with this. We didn't, the human beings, our engineering teams, we had nothing to do with this whatsoever. We didn't even know it was a thing for sure until we had decent enough technology to detect it, which was around 1960. And we figured out basically the center edge and the upper edge and the outer edge in Antarctica in 1960. And then they said, yeah, let's just lock this thing down until we can figure out what to do.
Well, now you brought up Antarctica. I have a question.
Yes.
Okay. One of the things that I have seen mentioned, maybe it was in the documentary, I'm not sure. Okay. So Antarctica is like, what, an ice wall? Because
it's the beginning of an ice wall. So the Antarctic, people think, it's the Antarctic coastline's the end of the world, and that 200-foot, cliff, it's a Game of Thrones thing. It's like, no, that's just the beginning of it. If you look at it, yeah, Antarctica is around here, but in the models, in a more accurate model, the white part around the outer edge would be much, much thicker.
Okay.
Way thicker.
Let me jump in.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me jump in. When you think of the flat Earth, people think of this, a disc floating in space. This is not what the flat Earth is. What Mark is holding, is not what the flat Earth is.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, no, not if it's in space.
Got to get rid of that, and
it's
Nathan's got to get rid
Asgard.
of his globe skull. All right.
Thor did us no favors.
That's a cutout of what the flat Earth is. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're not a disc in space. That's the most important thing. Think about this. What is a puddle? A puddle is where water accumulates in the low spot in the land, and the edge of the puddle is just where the land is higher than the water, right? Make sense?
Okay.
Right? So the water doesn't escape. So the land is the container of the puddle. Now expand that to a pond, it's a bigger puddle, and a lake, it's a bigger pond.
So
and
you
then
think
you
it's a
go
pond.
all the way. So the world is a giant lake, right? All of the continents are surrounded by water, but all of the water is surrounded by land. Okay. This is all land. This is the land that we call Antarctica. It's higher than the water surface. Okay. It is the container of our world, right? All the water is sitting in there. If if there wasn't, like, if you were going to take a bath and the tub disappeared, you can't take a bath. The water just goes. Water needs a container. This is the container. Antarctica is likely bigger than all of the oceans and all of the continents combined.
Yeah.
And you think it's possible that there are other puddles with other...
Well,
why the hell not?
So we're going to say stuff that anything that's outside of the shoreline of Antarctica, farther south, which is out, or anything higher than we can get to is going to be speculation, but I'm happy to do it. But again, those are things that we can't prove. We can speculate. Maybe there's other rings around us, right? Maybe there's domes over domes over domes with different worlds and different oceans outside of where we are. Maybe the extra territory, extra land is where the extraterrestrials come from, and they come from the outer space.
I was just going to say, how do you reconcile the spaceships? Because there's clearly spaceships flying around here.
Oh, yeah. But they don't have to come from Mars or Jupiter or Venus. Why not just come from another continent?
They just fly across the Earth plane, right? So let me just show you guys something. Let me just change my location. I actually am a
We lost
member
David.
of this.
No, he's here.
Oh, there he is.
Space program.
Oh,
you're
yay.
the ISS.
There we go.
ISS. Now you can't prove me wrong because I am in the ISS.
Right.
I am. That is it. This is the secret ISS.
Look
Right.
at you
Okay.
floating around and such. Man, that's impressive.
Right.
And that my budget is $64 million a day, not
Wow. That's
$65
impressive.
million a day.
Yeah,
Right?
you got to upgrade, Mark. He's he's really
Good
doing it
stuff.
there. He's going
Got
big.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Right, that's fine.
this is how easy it is to fool us, right? So again, outer space is the outer space across the Earth plane, and that's where there's extra land, more territory.
So then, okay, so
extraterrestrial.
you might have answered my question, but I'm going to ask it anyway, just for the sake of the peeps. So Antarctica, like when Admiral Byrd went down there, and he talked about looking for bases, and then he even allegedly told stories about inner Earth people. So so this would also explain that we're not just some flat thing, going through space. That there's actually we're in a puddle on surrounded by more land. So there could theoretically be these inner Earth people. Yeah.
Yeah. What about inner Earth civilizations?
Sure. Can I take this one, David?
You go, then I'll follow up.
Well,
if you don't
that's
mind.
how I got into flat Earth, was looking at Hollow Earth. I mean, I thought the Hollow Earth was like, oh, that's the cool thing to look at. I mean, I drove to Mount Shasta looking for openings and the whole 9 yards. And then I got into Admiral Byrd, and it's like, wow, that's an interesting guy. He was the first guy to take a rickety plane up to the North Pole in 1926. I thought, and I've heard the inner Earth stories, where he supposedly went inside, he saw this stuff, and it was really, really cool, and they kept it hush hush. But I thought, wow, he would have kept going back there. But wasn't the case. They rerouted him. That's where everything changed. They rerouted him and sent him to Antarctica from 1928 all the way up until his death in 1957. I mean, that's all he did was fly around Antarctica. I was going, why is he flying looking for something for decades down in Antarctica? And once I started looking into it, it's like, oh yeah, I get it. They were looking for the outer marker, which means that Antarctica is way bigger than that even we display on our maps.
So you don't think they were looking for the ice Nazis? Because
No, that was in 1946. That was right
High
after
Jump,
the surrender.
right?
Yeah, that was Operation
Okay.
High Jump, which is an intriguing whole separate thing in its own, because no one was in Antarctica during World War II except for one group, which was Germany, the Nazis.
Yeah.
And then right after, for whatever reason, right after the surrender signing in Pearl Harbor, I'm sorry, not Pearl Harbor, Tokyo, wherever the surrender was in Japan, Admiral Byrd gets on a full-blown carrier group and goes down to Antarctica. You guys can look it up. It's called Operation High Jump. And the speculation is that they were trying to root out the last of the Nazis down there, which goes into a whole nother thing. It's like, okay, was there a battle? Did they request asylum from whoever was running Antarctica? We don't know, but it was that. But whatever happened, it was over, because by 1954, when Admiral Byrd went on television, that wasn't an issue anymore. They were just talking about Antarctica as a real estate boon. It was going to be made out of money, and they were going to carve it up. So
we definitely agree that they're hiding some stuff down there.
oh, damn straight, they're hiding stuff.
Here's my view. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, David.
I'm done.
Go ahead.
So I think that Hollow Earth is just another trap for our minds to make us think we live in a heliocentric world, because the heliocentric solar system is the deception. It's how they gatekeep us. So the deepest hole ever dug was the Great Borehole in Russia. It's about 7.5 miles deep. And then they couldn't get any deeper. It was just too hot, too hard. They just
claim they heard people from hell screaming. That's the one.
I heard
right?
that. That's a freaky video, man.
Right?
I still have nightmares
That
about
was
that.
wild.
All right. So equate that to an apple. They drilled halfway through the skin of the apple. Okay. Halfway through the skin, and their ground penetrating radar was wrong every step of the way. All right. There's no more water. They hit more water. All right. There's no more rocks. They hit more rocks. They were wrong. But somehow, even though they can only get halfway through the skin of the apple, they know it's at the center of the earth. This is pseudoscience. This is a meme.
Yeah, we agree that there's no molten ball in the center situation.
We don't know what's in the center. Maybe there's
right.
a molten, who knows what's down there,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
But nobody knows what's below 7.5 miles. So maybe there's another firmament down there. Could be a whole nother world. I don't know. Maybe there's tunnels coming up. I don't know. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Well,
So
what do you
because
guys
they keep
think
showing that cross section in the background that David's showing, they show it to every school kid. everyone think that's it. And by the way, back in the day, there used to be a disclaimer under that drawing, the cross section, that says, by the way, we don't really know what's down there. We're just kind of estimating from geologic formations and stuff.
Do either of you have a globe where you are right now? Like on a bookshelf? Okay, never mind.
Wish we did. Right? We wish
Next
these
time
were
you see a
actual
globe
bookshelves.
at someone's house or at a store, pick it up, turn it over, and read the sticker on the bottom.
Yeah.
And the sticker at the bottom, it says for entertainment purposes only, not for educational purposes.
Yeah, which
is weird. Do you guys believe there's aliens? Where do you think they're coming from?
Extraterrestrials come from the extra territory beyond Antarctica.
Yeah, I think
right here. Right? They don't come from trillions of miles away and crash in Roswell. They come from 5,000 or 10,000 miles away, maybe closer.
Yeah, older civilizations, I have no problem with different or better technology. Yeah, why the hell not?
So you do believe there were pre-current civilizations, whatever, Atlantis, this, that, the other, like.
Even without watching Ancient Aliens, you gotta at least pick up on a few things. What the sunken cities off Japan, the sunken cities off of India, Bimini Road, the Bosnian pyramids, Puma Punku, go on and on and on.
Oh, we definitely agree on that. For sure.
We are not the first people to rent this apartment. Not by a long.
I think this is a holodeck, is what I think. So I think I think it's a projection of consciousness. So I think just about anything is possible depending on your perspective. You know what I mean? Because it's essentially, I've had experiences that have taught me this too. That it's just literally, I mean, I've had some wild experiences that have taught me that this.
Feel free to share with them. Tell them why.
Yeah.
So what woke me up was a spaceship. Now I can't prove one way or another whether it was ET or it was us, but I firmly believe, and I've talked to a lot of people that have confirmed this for me. So I got woken up by a ship. I was completely asleep in the Matrix, bought into all of it. Okay, I started out as a physics major in college. I was completely sold on the whole what they were selling, right? And then I had a spaceship appear, right? And it didn't fly up, you guys. It went from a point of light to a ship, boom, like that, in front of my face. Okay, and so I was like, that's very shocking because according to science, I was taught that's not possible, right? And so I looked, there was a guy with me and I looked over at him like, is this happening? You know what I mean? And he acknowledged that it was happening. And then like 8 military drones came around and they were watching the ship and the ship and they were watching me. And it was this whole intense thing. And then at one point I thought, well, this is aliens and they're going to kidnap me. I don't know. And I just ran. I booked it. I took off.
Bring out the anal probes.
Yeah. I didn't look back.
And it changed your life forever.
Yeah, it changed my life I can't really go into all of it right now, but it changed my life forever. And so what I had to reconcile was that if it was aliens, that would be one thing, but I don't believe it was. I believe it was us.
Let me jump in here. So, things just appearing. Well, if the length of my arms were the light spectrum, we only see this tiny little bandwidth.
Correct.
So there things right here that we don't see. So that's,
I believe it was cloaked and all it decloaked. It either came through a wormhole or decloaked.
Change the vibration outside of our visual frequency and it's invisible. That's a whole nother thing. You guys say you're big fans of the secret space program. Just change your wording. The secret propulsion program. They use free energy. Okay. It's the secret propulsion
we agree on that for sure.
And then you have to realize, okay, if they're coming from they want us to believe they're coming from other stars and other planets, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the closest star is Alpha Centauri, which is 4.5 light years, right? So let's just put that into perspective. If our sun was a mile over our head in the heliocentric world, it would fill the entire sky. You'd look up and this is all you would see, right? Mm-hmm. If it was a mile over our head, our giant sun, right? You move it 93 million miles away where they say it is, and it reduces to the size of a nickel held at arm's length, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If I doubled the distance, how much smaller would it get? Remembering it went from the entire sky to this size. If I doubled the distance, it would get a lot smaller. But let's make it easier. If I went 8 times the distance, if you actually did the measurements, it would be so small your eye couldn't see it. It would just, the angular size would be too small. It would be so small you couldn't see it. Well, 8 times the distance is a light hour, and the closest star is 40,000 times farther.
Well, here's the thing. See, I have a kind of a different set of beliefs. You hadn't joined us yet when I was talking about this. I believe that these things are some sort of an interdimensional thing. Like I am fully on board with like
She's on the J
you know,
train.
I don't know. Yeah, I rock with Jesus, and I think these things, the ones that are here, I mean, I'm sure there's some good ones, but I think the ones that are messing around here are up to no good, and that they're probably some sort of interdimensional demon, dark thing. I don't trust none of it.
Can work here on the Earth plane. Everything could be here within the Earth system, not the soul lure system. They're literally trying to steal our souls with the soul lure system.
If the stars, you think that the stars are a projection on the firmament, whatever it is, the top that's around us, correct? So I've had interactions with the star. I'm very weird, guys. All people considered here, right? We're all probably a little bit on the odd side, right? But I interact with the stars, and they're alive and conscious in my perception. Like, I interact with them and talk to them, and they're alive and conscious to me. So
wait, you're telling me that this could be alive, or this could actually be sentient in nature? Now that's a burning ball of hydrogen.
No, he's not making fun of you, by the way.
Yeah, I see that.
What's that, Mark?
Go ahead. You're not picking on her. I know.
I'm not picking on you. I'm making fun because I am agreeing with you. I'm actually being sarcastic that these, in my opinion, are sentient in nature.
Yeah.
Okay. You do think they're sentient?
Oh, 100%.
What do you think they are? Do. What do you think that they are? I think they're sentient beings.
Weiss, me, David Weiss, not speaking for any other flat earther, but there are a lot that agree with me, is that the stars are our souls in the heavens above. Right, and the
like old school Mufasa,
stars, the wandering stars,
okay,
are all the which used to be called planets, are named after gods. So, you know, astrology is the real science. Astronomy is pseudoscience. Every single bit of it. Right. So these are, you know, the heavenly realm is above us. We're here in this physical realm. Maybe there's a different, denser realm below us. I don't know.
So are you like law of one ish?
I don't know. What
have you read the Law of One?
I know that. I remember. I read it a long time ago. It's interesting stuff.
Density, progression through densities.
Yeah. So again, you know, this is my spiritual belief. I have no proof of this, but there's a lot of people that believe this, and ancient civilizations where we're having a soul's experience here in this realm.
We agree on that.
Right. And we're having this journey with our soul, and we're in these avatar meat suits. And, you know, our goal here is simple. Maintain control of your soul. Don't lose it. Don't give it up to evil. Don't sell your soul.
I agree on that.
We agree with that for sure.
Right. It's for soul evolution, this experience, whatever this weird experience is.
The solar system and the whole aliens from outer space up in the sky is literally to steal your soul. It's to make you believe that you're insignificant in a godless or distant God universe, when the truth is we're at the center of creation, right? Where nobody has dominion over us, where our thoughts create our reality, that nobody can take away our God-given free will, but they make us think, they make us live in fear of asteroids, fear of nuclear bombs, fear of running out of dinosaur juice, all of that stuff.
For sure.
Right. And then we become nihilistic, selfish people over that. Some people have found God, are good people, but they live on a ball. They're still lost. And the analogy I use is Neo in the Matrix. At the beginning, he's lost. His mind is trapped in the Matrix. He doesn't know who he is. And at the end of the movie, he knows who he is, where he is, what he is, and the power of his mind. So what difference does it make? It makes every difference in the world.
Well, I agree with that for sure. For sure. So I have some more, just, I guess, base level questions. Like how like, do you guys believe in plate tectonics? I mean, how does that work? Volcanoes, or even I had asked about the stars in the southern hemisphere, but what about like the reason why do hurricanes spin this way up here and then this way down there? Or is there a cohesive model that'll explain all this stuff?
Go ahead, Mark.
Me?
I'll take it. No,
that's a good one.
Well, no, let me frame it.
They've probably been asked that like 100 times. I'm just genuinely curious.
Well, no, I'm gonna let David take this one. Just so you know, what he stated in the beginning, which was the only cohesive thing we've got completely. I got it. Percentage like 70 here, 80% is like no globe. Everything else, though, up.
Right, I get that. I'm with you.
But go ahead, David.
So the sun and the moon circle around. The center of the Earth is the North Pole, right? And the sun and the moon, this is the moon, this is the sun. They happen to be opposed to each other in this model right here. They circle around, and they're magnetic and electric in nature. Everything, the only real forces in this world are electricity and magnetism.
We agree on that.
They're brother and sister. So as they're going through, the Earth is a giant battery system. The salt water carries the current. The land is the salt bridge. The sun and the moon are the anode and cathode of the system. So as they're going, they're laying a wake. Just like if you push your hand through the water or a paddle through the water, opposite rotating vortices will come off and spin. So when a storm forms and the moon or the sun is going by, it will cause the storm outside of the tropics to spin in opposite directions. Sometimes a storm will be heading towards the tropics. The sun and the moon will be on the far side of the Earth, and it will cross the tropics spinning in the wrong direction. There are storms that in the north that spin in the opposite direction. It happens.
I'm familiar. Yeah, so I gotcha.
The whole spin of the Earth thing makes absolutely no sense. There is no Coriolis effect. Toilets don't spin in the opposite direction in Australia. Down is down. Down is not up for Australia and down for us. Down is down in Australia, here, everywhere. Down is down, up is up. Forward and backwards, left and right are all relative to however you're facing. But up is up, down is down.
Now, you said the only forces were what? You said magnetism and nuclear and
electricity.
So you do not believe in gravity?
Gravity. Well, there is a force that we call gravity, but it's not due. It's not due to mass. There's no experiment that has ever proved mass attracts mass. As a matter of fact, they say they don't know what gravity is. Neil deGrasse Tyson. I'll do an imitation.
I agree.
I don't know
that
what
guy.
It is.
Yeah,
right?
we definitely don't.
Yeah,
They make up 96% of gravity is dark matter and dark energy. It's something they've never seen, but it has to be there for gravity to work. That's the dumbest crap ever. Okay, so that's like me saying, hey, I owe you $100. I'm going to give you $4. I'll PayPal you, and I'm going to send you 96 in dark dollars. Don't worry, they're there. Just trust me. Okay, they're there. It works. We're even.
Sounds racist.
It's an estimation that they use to make their model work.
So
sounds racist. It does sound racist.
Mark may have a different opinion on this.
No,
but,
not necessarily.
And with the gravitational model and the flat Earth attraction model. Buoyancy and density sort everything else out, right? So if I had a handful of ping pong balls and a handful of rocks, I held them over a pool and I dropped them, they'd all fall through the air because they're heavier in the air. The ping pong balls would sit on top of the water. The rocks would go to the bottom because of buoyancy and density. Everything sorts itself out. But what makes things go down? Well, the Earth has a measurable negative charge to it, a measurable, testable, measurable, charge to it, scientifically proven. There's voltage in the air. The higher up you get, the voltage increases very quickly. So that negative charge of the Earth has a very weak force, just like they say gravity is a weak force. It attracts everything, just a weak force, and then buoyancy and density sort everything else out.
So you think buoyancy and density are not actually dependent on the existence of gravity? You think that this is because of the charges, the charge of the Earth. So if you ever see those triangle tinfoil things that they electrify and they float in the air, that's not defying gravity. That is defying the magnetism or the electrical charge of the Earth. Okay, so, I got you.
Can I throw in one thing really quick here?
Go ahead.
The buoyancy and density thing, you also have to remember, and his model is actually showing it, is also reliant on a pressurized system. There has to be a barrier. Sooner or later, it only works if there's, eventually something holding it in, which is one of the things I've been throwing at scientists for 5 years now, which is, okay, fine. You say our atmosphere gets to a certain point and then there's the vacuum of space.
Well, it's a gradient that it follows. Yeah.
Okay, but what happens?
Allegedly, right?
Where's that bleeding edge of space? And tell me what happens when it gets there, because that defies one of the laws of thermodynamics, which says pressure cannot exist next to non-pressure without some sort of barrier. What's the barrier? You can't say gravity. You can't use gravity as a barrier. And some people says, well, it's so light up there that it's not really tugging on much. And David knows my answer to that, which is like, okay, but it's tugging on everything. It's not just tugging on the light particles. It would tug on everything that wasn't nailed down from the bleeding edge all the way down to the ground. And the heavy stuff would be just ripped off if that was the case, which is not. Again, vacuum versus gravity. Vacuum wins every time.
Right, but I mean, vacuum is just
Nothing.
lack of right. I mean, it's
Lack of
basically an
molecules,
empty.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I mean, but our atmosphere
Mhm.
is a gradient, right? You got the
Yeah,
heavier stuff, and then the lighter stuff, and then lighter stuff, and light, and
And
eventually
then what?
nothing.
Yeah, but you can't again,
Ish.
you can't have something sitting next to nothing. Even if it was only 3 parts per million next to 0 parts per million, it is going to equalize. It's going to be very, very fast. And it's going to go ahead, David.
No, go. I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
Well, it was going to equalize very, very fast. And remember, it's not only going after that light stuff. Once it equalizes the light stuff, it's going after the denser and denser and denser all the way down.
Suck
to the
everything.
And I could take a straw with the weak vacuum of my mouth and lungs and inhale and pull air or water up and away from Earth effortlessly, right? So that says, I'm defying gravity with the weak vacuum in my cheeks and the super Tor 17 vacuum of space, which should just rip everything away. Can't do it. That's ridiculous. Here's an experiment one of our guys did. He's got a Van de Graaff generator that can create a negative charge, and he has this plate over here that he gives an electric a charge slightly stronger than the Earth. And when he does, little things, pieces of wood will go up. Right? He does it with wood, with metal, with hair. And the things go up. Here's iron. And it's just to show that it's not magnetism. He did it with wood, and then he does it with hair. When he charges it, things go up. So he's just overpowering the weak negative charge of the Earth. So that's a testable scientific thing that we can verify that actually works. We're not defying gravity. No. We're just changing the electric potential of where things are attracted. And that's it. The Earth has this very weak force, and buoyancy and density sort everything else out.
Yeah.
Well, here's another question. So I generally just want to know. So vacuum just means empty, really. Vacuum doesn't mean suction. Suction happens because, like you said, there's
low pressure.
Low pressure.
Vacuum.
There's a pressure gradient.
Super low pressure space.
But it's instant.
Okay.
It's not like the movies. In fact, I could throw you a link real fast. One of my favorites is vacuum versus steel rail car.
Yeah, anything you guys want to definitely put in this little chat, because I will absolutely go check that all out.
We should start taking callers soon too. You
guys. Yeah, I know that.
Real quick, let me do a thought experiment for you really fast. Okay, here this will sort out the vacuum thing pretty easy. Let's say there was a vacuum chamber in the floor above you right now, and you had a valve lever, and you pull it. What happens? It's instant, equalizes. The air in your room is going upstairs. It is going to equalize with the non-pressure. It's going to be instantly. It's not like the movies. It's not like, oh, there's only 2 minutes of air left. It's violently quick. And when that happens, the question I have for you is, okay, why didn't the gravity in your room keep the air in your room instead of going upstairs? And you say, well, what's your point? My point is, when you go outside, why is our atmosphere still here? And your initial knee-jerk response, everybody I've ever talked to in the science field is like, well, it's gravity. I go, you mean the same gravity that couldn't keep the air in your room right over there? That exact same gravity couldn't do it. And again, people have a hard time wrapping their head around it.
I like that.
Right?
You never heard that one?
I never heard that one.
My stuff.
Learning
you
new
give me links.
stuff.
I
Look
listen
at
to your interviews when you send them to me,
Have you ever heard me say that?
No, I haven't.
That's right.
Well, no, I thought you were trying to be different.
Do you guys have the link and the meeting and ID and password is on the screen, but do you guys have the link in the chat, mods, to post for people to start calling in? So please do, guys, call in with your questions for Mark and David, and let's continue this discussion respectfully and out of love.
Keep it love, right?
And you're only allowed to insult Mark and I once per call. Hey, you guys know about the 3-body problem? So
do tell.
So NASA or whatever, the greatest supercomputer on Earth, you can create a program and say, all right, I got a sun, it's got this much gravity. I got a little planet, it's got this much gravity. Set them into orbit, and they work perfectly. You can predict where it's going to be for 1 million years, 10 minutes, 10 hours, 10 days, whatever. And then the problem is now we add a third body, either a moon or another planet orbiting one of those, and the entire model falls apart. It never repeats. It goes into random beehive mode because the gravities are just pulling on each other, and it just never repeats.
Well, we agree that the moon is in a weird predicament, and we don't necessarily think it was naturally put, naturally.
Forget that. Whether it was naturally there or not, it follows a pattern and it repeats again and again and again, and we know exactly where it is. When the moon is in between the Earth and the sun, how come the sun doesn't either rip it away or at least nudge it out of place? Okay, how come when Jupiter lines up with Saturn, how come that doesn't pull on the moon or pull on the Earth or pull on the sun?
Yeah, how is the moon not turned even a quarter of a degree in hundreds of years? How
Mark,
is it
it's
possible?
tidally locked by gravity. You know that.
Well, I did want to ask you guys about tides, but I mean, I think in general, Alara's got this look on her face like, what the hell?
Oh, I'm just trying to put the link out there.
Hey, I think it's possible that the moon was like,
I think it's a spaceship.
Yeah.
Let's talk about tides.
No, why not?
Before we get a call. So when the moon is over here, supposedly we have a high tide, but that's not true. We have high tides, and then on the other side of the world, there's another high tide. And Neil deGrasse Tyson and science, scientism people say if the moon's over here, it's pulling the water towards it. So we have this hump of water pulled towards the moon. The reason there's another high tide over here is because the moon is tugging the Earth away from that water. Is that the dumbest thing you've ever heard?
That's the explanation.
They do
that's the explanation. Yeah. Okay. And then he says the tides stay there, but the Earth rotates inside of it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the second dumbest thing you've ever heard. But if you look at what tides really are, there's massive tides, like 30, 40-foot tides in Alaska. And at the equator, where there should be
a huge wall of
big
water.
Tides, there's like no tides. Look at the Maldives. They're like a foot off the ground, right? And the tides are tiny there, tiny.
I know the callers are going to hate me. I have so many questions. Go ahead.
So there's also tidal nodes where there's like a high tide here and then another high tide here and a low tide here and a high tide here. There's these crazy nodes. I have a playlist on my channel, DITRH, about tides.
I'm going to let this caller in and greet her real quick. And then,
yeah, go ahead.
I want to know about when the sun does, where the sun is up all the time. We have places in like Alaska or like allegedly places in Antarctica where there's no sunset. At some point, when is Elizabeth? Who's that?
Her audio's still connecting.
My favorite.
Welcome to the Conspiracy Couch, Elizabeth Brito.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
How are you this evening?
You have a question, right? Welcome, welcome.
You got to mute the stream.
Got it. Sorry.
Yeah,
I guess
it happens.
I'm so sorry. I guess I'm behind.
It's okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, make sure and mute the stream,
You're
callers.
a bad person.
So it's muted. I was enthralled in the conversation and must have. Anyway. I am in Sedona, so obviously I have seen and heard so many different stories about all of these possibilities. But the one thing that keeps coming up for me is the energy, the ascension question, vibration, all of that. Like, isn't this just an energy upgrade? What we're feeling, and that is.
You feel like your vibration or your energy is changing. Help me out here.
I'm not. You guys caught me totally off guard. So I am totally understanding what you guys are saying. However, if you look at it from a frequency perspective, so the levels of Antarctica, I can totally see it from the outside. So where do all right, so where do the angels come in? Where does the psychic abilities come in? Where does the knowing come in? In other words, do you understand? Like, how many times?
You want me to address the biblical side of it real quick?
You're gonna have a lot of people asking that.
Well, no. We'll cut to the chase so they have something to look up while we're talking. Because David and I don't cover a lot of chapter and verse because we've got people. The community's got a lot of chapter and verse people. If you want to look up a great website while we're talking right now, I would recommend Rob Skiba's testingtheglobe.com. One of the first groups that came at Flat Earth, and I mean like within a month after the clues came out was the hardcore Christian community. And they said, okay, what's the deal? And they went through, especially Rob, went through with a fine-tooth comb the King James. And he developed this fantastic website called testingtheglobe.com. And with the exception of one verse and one verse only, and that is, I have talked to pastors, they are clinging on to this one verse like grim death, which is Isaiah 40:21. I hope I got that one, or 41:12. Can't remember which one. I think it's 40:21, which is he who sitteth upon the circle of the earth. That's the only thing it's even remotely. Well, circle in the ancient Hebrew is not ball, it's not globe, it's not sphere. A dinner plate is circular. My dining room table is circular. Well, not that one. That one's square.
I think Mark, I think what she's getting at is, both of you guys, are we ascending? You know, like a lot of people, they call it the New Age community, but I don't like that word. Are we, in your understanding, in your estimation, are we ascending into another dimension as spiritual beings and physical vessels right now?
Given the weirdness that's been happening over the last 5 years, David and I can talk about it. I mean, I've never seen, I mean, if you would have asked me 7 years ago what we'd be talking about now, what we'd be doing, we would say you're out of your mind. So yeah, it's very I mean, definitely the frequency is changing. Do I think it's an absolute ascension? Well, I think there's going to be a trial before that, but that's just me.
So I don't know how this would relate to flat Earth versus globe Earth, but I believe there is a changing energy of this world, that there is an awakening that happened. I draw the line at 2012, and people are waking up. That's why so many people are seeing what's going on. So many people are snapping out of their coma. So there's so many people still in their coma. You just go outside and look around. They're all muzzled up. So are we ascending? Yeah, we have the ability to ascend, whatever you want to say that is. But I'm a different person than I was in 2012. I'm having a great time. This is 2020 was one of the greatest years of my life, and 2021 is going to be even better. World's falling apart.
Wild ride.
Hey.
But I believe it has to fall apart in order to be rebuilt. So
absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah.
100%. And that's what we're seeing right now, is that change, is that 100%, however you want to perceive it. If you want to perceive it as flat Earth, if you want to perceive it as a frequency of a infinite plane, however you want to perceive it, as colors, sounds, it depends on your experience of your lifetime. But regardless of whatever it is, it's happening. I mean, what's happening is we are realizing what we are capable of in this ascension. And it's basically the manifestation. Like, it's so funny. Like, I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, I can't believe I made this happen. I can't believe I'm making all these systems fall. I can't believe I made the Matrix crash. Like, I think I did it.
Go, girl.
I'm the believer of, you manifest your reality.
Yep.
And yes, we have been given so many gifts, and I don't know, just it's unbelievable that these times that it's happening right now for a reason, 100%. And I love what you guys are doing, and you're getting people to really 100% think, like, wait, what the fuck do I believe? Like, this is something that, like, you really need to think about shit. It's not what you've been taught.
Right.
Like, think for yourself.
Agree on that.
Yep.
Think
100%.
for yourself and literally sit with yourself. So real quick, I will tell you that I'm a massage therapist, and I do this new thing with my clients where there's this mobile. It's a crystal mobile hanging from the ceiling. I walk in, it's not moving. I have my hand an inch under it, and it starts moving. Okay, we all know that we are just energy. And just like he was saying with the horizon, you see what you want to see, but you feel in your soul. That's something that you can't see with your eye. It's not physical. And that's what is most important.
Elizabeth, thank you so much for sharing. I'd hate to cut you off, but we only have a limited amount of time here.
Guys.
Thank you very much for calling in.
Much love.
Good night. Okay.
Love you guys.
Love you too. Okay, so let's see. When these calls are cell phones without names, I don't so much like that idea.
Well, see what happens if they...
The worst that could happen.
Yeah, right. See what happens if
all right,
it's,
let's
hit
let's
the button if
it.
it's all bad.
All right. I'm letting Galaxy S9 in. Let's
All right,
see what
Galaxy
happens.
S9.
Yeah. Dun dun dun.
Oh boy, Galaxy
Right.
S9.
Is it going to be a person
Not a fan.
or?
Right.
Galaxy S9, do you have my app on your Android phone?
Oh, I saw you had an app.
Yeah.
Right. So like a clock of
I'm
some sort.
impressed.
Let me
We've
show
done
you.
an hour,
It'll
you
show
haven't
you how
plugged it yet.
seasons work. In a little bit, I'll show you.
Well,
Whatever.
welcome to the show, Galaxy S9. You have a question for
Hello.
David or
It's
Mark? Hello.
It's Mark, Zulu 1. I don't know
Oh,
why I said
God.
that.
Oh, woo!
Yeah, I know
Woo!
these two
Relief.
knuckleheads.
Okay.
I
Oh,
wanted
thank
to
God,
tell
right?
them,
Yeah.
I was not calling for a question. I just wanted to show you some love. You guys are freaking awesome. Your chat is awesome. I am very impressed that they are not trying to kill us and cut our throats. They're talking to us. They're being nice.
They
We're
better
being
be.
nice. Well, we are too. I mean, honestly, like David said, we don't look down at you guys because you don't see it's flat.
A little
We're
bit.
we're here to share. Yeah, well, a little bit, but we're here to share. And like I said, I just wanted to show some love. You guys are great.
Well,
The
thank
chat is
you.
great. And these two guys are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
Just
Oh, this has been so much fun. I love these guys.
We're gonna
right,
get
next
to the
caller.
truth.
Great.
We're gonna
all right,
Dump
yeah,
this
I'll
guy.
go.
Get rid of
All right,
him.
all right,
This guy.
love you. Bye.
All right. So
I actually prefer the hate calls, the ones that have the gotcha
Oh.
question.
Most producers
I
do.
need some gotcha questions. Like, what about seasons? You know,
Right.
how does the sun set?
Yeah.
Right. Oh, there you go. Right. How does that work? How many do we have people?
we don't have we don't have another
Oh,
caller
guys.
in the waiting room.
How
so
come I
go
can't see
for it.
Mount Everest?
Come on, you guys. This
Well,
is
do you want me to?
Right.
this
do you wanna
show is
pop-
for us to have
pick
fun.
something
You
in a
guys
chat?
ask the guys. I know you guys have questions out there, so stop being
Believe it
afraid
or
and
not, I
just
mean,
call in.
I've done
Well-
a podcast for 6 years, and I still have people now. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, I've been listening for 3 years. First time calling in. People are just nervous.
Yeah,
They-
Yeah, we get that sometimes.
Well, I
and then
mean-
other times we get people that call in and it's
they're just
wildness.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
I mean, you two ladies are incredibly intimidating. So
why
I
people are
imagine-
getting the courage to talk to you, nice ladies? Can you activate screen sharing, and I'll show you
Yeah.
the app and how
Yeah.
and
me
you'll get
see.
a better idea.
Man,
of
I gotta
how-
make you a co-host. Woo.
how it works. You can do that.
Right? Look
Like
at
this.
that.
Yeah.
Allow
No,
all
no.
There we
participants
go.
to share screen. Here we go.
There you go.
Where'd it go?
Okay.
Where did
David's gonna
It's
school
the
us.
flat Earth sun.
While we
moon,
wait on our
baby.
next
where,
caller.
Where did
Walk
the it literally the share screen went away?
Oh, well.
Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Got it. Never mind. My
Yeah.
bad. So here it is.
It
So
fell
you
off
make
the
that-
edge, David.
Is that showing on the
But,
whole screen?
Yeah, there you go.
So
Rim
the
shot.
sky is the
Right.
perfect clock, and the sun goes around once every 24 hours. So if you watch, the sun is going to gain distance on the moon. The sun will lap the moon once every 28, 29 days. So the sun is just keeping track of the hours and the days. The moon keeps track of the weeks and the months, right? If I slow it down and turn on the zodiac, the stars,
Ooh, look at that.
which are fixed in their position, will spin slightly faster than the sun. They lap the sun once a year. So they got to go around 365 times before they will lap. Right now, Pisces is catching up to the sun. So soon the sun will be in Pisces for a month, and then the sun will be here, then the sun will be here. And that's how the sun is in all of these different zodiacs. So the time zones spin around with the sun. If I can get him to come on. Hello, time
He's
zones.
got this all mapped out. Look at
So-
this.
I know, right?
So
Look
right
at that.
now,
Came
if
prepared.
Man.
you look, it's 2:00 in the afternoon in Eastern Australia. It's 6 a.m. in South Africa.
Yeah,
in
that's actually
Central Africa.
super helpful.
Yeah, so this is way you can see where the time zones are. This is interesting. This is how a compass works on flat Earth. North is in the center. South is every direction away from the center. Every straight line ends up going south, no matter which direction you go.
There is no east and west.
East and
Not
west
really.
are circles. So imagine, so I put a compass down here. The north hand has to point towards the center. So if I leave New York and I head east is not a straight line. This is south. East is a circle because I have to keep turning around. I have to keep turning, and then I'll come right back to where I started from. And a globe will say you went around a ball, and I'm like, no, you didn't. You just sailed around the lake. West
Well, I
is
mean,
a circle.
Theoretically, the south points if that map were bent, would all be at the same place, right?
They'd all be tucked underneath. You'd be able to go from Santiago south and pop up over in Australia, but nobody has ever done it.
Welcome to the Conspiracy Couch Keystone channel.
So
Hi, Keystone.
Keystone, hold on for 1 second so I get out of the app so we can see you. So real quick, every day there's a new video in the bottom left-hand corner, and it'll teach you something about flat Earth. And if you hit the question mark, all the questions that everyone's going to ask are here. What about Coriolis?
Wow, look at that. Yeah.
What about gravity? What about seasons? We talked about seasons a little bit. Oh, no, let me show you about seasons. But if I click what about seasons, up come videos that YouTube won't show you.
Yeah.
Right. Also, tons of other information, mud floods, all other stuff. If you have kids,
mud floods, I'm a fan of that.
So this is this is your app, right? That you designed.
This is my app.
Okay.
Yeah. Check out the Flat Earth Man. If you have kids, it'll teach them more than school will ever teach them. Different languages. It does.
Look, Dutch.
So real quick, this is the best part. One of the best
Give us a couple minutes, Zulu, and we'll let you in.
1 second. So this outer line here is the Tropic of Capricorn. The inner line is the Tropic of Cancer. So I'm going to use the little jumping guy. I'm going to go to June, April, May, June, and the sun in June is over the Tropic of Cancer. This is the inner northern summer because the sun is closer and higher in the sky because it's over our heads. Versus 6 months later, when the sun goes all the way out to the Tropic of Capricorn, then it's over the outer line, and it's our winter because it's farther away. It's over there, like an airplane far away, and it's lower in the sky. But it's the summer for Australia and South America and Southern Africa because the sun is higher in the sky and over them. That's simply how the seasons work. It just goes around and around.
Yeah.
Right. So you
put a lot of work into that. That's a nice app.
It does a lot.
Yeah.
Another thing, you remember how they show us the jet streams, how they make this crazy sine wave? They go up and they go down. Well, this is what the jet stream really looks like. These are the current winds right now at 40,000 feet.
Wow, he's got this all mapped out.
They go in perfect circles.
Makes way more sense on the flat Earth map.
Yeah, it goes in a perfect circle. So there you go. It does a whole bunch of other things, but that's enough of that.
That's pretty awesome.
It's
Good
called
job.
the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. If you're watching on a computer, just point your camera there.
Look at that.
Awesome.
And there you go.
Well, there you guys. There's the Flat Earth clock map. What is it called? The Flat Earth Sun, Moon, Zodiac Clock map. Welcome, Keystone.
Hello, everybody. Well, it's very early in the morning here. Actually, it is 5:30 in the morning, and thank you guys for coming, and I like that you guys are very positive and all that, because that helps from people from fighting each other over if it's flat, square, or round. But I'm just here
because it's a cube.
Yeah, whatever it is, I think it's a hard form, but I'm wondering, I'm just I've never been into much flat earth or not, really. I because in a way all of it is kind of truth, right? If we create our own reality, then isn't our own reality that what is truth?
I mean, I'm tracking you. Go ahead, guys.
You have a
we do create our reality, but it's helped to know where your feet are planted. That you're not on a spinning speck flying through an infinite vacuum. Yeah. That you're in this realm, and you can create a reality better when you know where you are. Where are you? Are you in England or?
I'm in Holland.
In Holland. I can see that.
Yeah.
Reality as we know it is much easier to understand if we take the universe and shrink it down to a big studio apartment. If that makes sense.
I mean,
it's like somebody asked me, it's like, oh, are you killing astrology? I said, no, not by any stretch. In fact, it makes it much more intimate. It means the stars are here just for you. And this whole place was built for you. You're not some little tiny speck covered in water and smoke flying through a impossible universe, can get snuffed out at any time. And by the way, you're an accident. You were deliberately put here for a reason. And that gives people a lot of purpose.
I agree with that, and I just wanted to say, because I'm going to be in short because there are more callers, obviously. I just wanted to say that for me, I think when I started looking in flat Earth, I kind of stopped myself after a day, because I figured, hang on, isn't it important that we get to sort out whatever is going on the surface, whether it is flat or round or whatever it is? And so living in this world with each other, that is where I plant my feet, and whatever reality that I create, because I do believe that we create our own realities. I do also believe that everybody has, is entitled to their opinion or their beliefs or whatever their reality is. And so, therefore, I will never fight with people over anything in this regard, and nor should anybody. But it is always a good discussion, and it's very interesting because I figured, with all these researches that people do, whether you're flat Earth or round or whatever, you always get to answers of other questions that we have as well. And I find that interesting, and that's really all I wanted to say, because I cannot pick a side, nor do I want to.
Beautiful.
Well, we love you. Thank you
Right.
for calling in, Keystone.
Yeah. Thank you, Keystone.
Always good to hear from you guys. Just so you know, you said sometimes people are nervous to call. I've been pulling questions from the chat, like maybe if we're in between calls, and putting them in our chat. If you guys see anything that you want to shout out or have an answer to, feel free, just so you know.
Oh, and Foyle, I think your questions are always brilliant because they intrigue me, because you think with your head, and then you start asking the questions not based on what the audience want, but rather what's in your head. And I do the same, and I like that because they're good questions.
Well, thanks, Keystone.
Yeah. Thank you, Keystone. I loved your thoughts.
Have a great night.
Thank you for sharing.
Much
You
love,
too.
as always.
All right, so there she's out. We got a new one. Let's see here.
Yeah, David, Mark, if you see anything in our little chat questions that you want to answer, I'm just trying to grab what I can.
Yeah. Can I mention the moon crater thing really quick? Because I put it in chat,
please.
but I got to throw that in there. Because people say, oh, yeah, can you see the moon craters inside a planetarium? Well, if it's a good planetarium, yes. What I always found interesting about moon craters was that they were always almost perfect circles. Like they all hit at a 45-degree angle.
Right, that is, right.
And I was going, well, that looks decorative to me. I'm not saying that's lazy. I'm not. I'm just saying that it looks very, very decorative, because if there's gravitational forces from both sides, you're going to see craters that are skid marks. That just,
I agree.
Fly off somewhere, and we don't see that. It's just these beautiful circles. I think it's just an.
In all fairness, I don't know. If you guys, we have a lot of people that are out like in their yards filming the moon now with all of this, this high tech stuff, and there actually have been, and I think we had some videos on Space Force News where you can see skid marks of things. Just I know, right?
Yeah. Well,
we found a couple of them. They should be up there.
Welcome to Conspiracy Couch, Holly.
Hi,
how are you? Let Mark finish his thought.
Oh, well, no, I was just going to say the question you put in chat about, how close, and David can chime in if he wants to, how close is the sun and the moon, and what are they made of and stuff. You got to remember that, like, even in David's app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, is that they're very, very small. In fact, they're so small, we can't even draw them to scale on a map. Because they'd be less than 50 miles wide. And so, like, when you see some of our maps, like, what the most common question is, like, why isn't it daylight everywhere? That sun is huge. And it's like, because we can't draw it any smaller, because otherwise you wouldn't be able to see it. So, I don't know, 3,000 miles up, maybe, give or take, less than 50 miles wide. They're both identical, which is why the moon fits exactly in front of the sun. Sorry, go ahead, Holly.
Okay, so I recently started getting into flat Earth, and I do believe it.
Good.
And I have some questions on like the whole space thing, though, like all the planets. Like I understand, how the stars, I saw a few videos where they actually are like reflections of light, like where there's water above the firmament. But what I don't get is like Saturn, like all the planets. What are they? Like, do you think that they are
do we think they're sentient?
Yeah, or
David,
or do you think they're gods? Or
didn't you have a slide up there?
I think she's asking, what are they literally? What do you think the planets are that they're selling us? What do you think they are?
They're not what NASA is showing us.
There you go. Let's start with that.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
So because people are easily fooled in anything. Like NASA would show us this. What planet would this be?
Jupiter.
That's Jupiter, David.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Jupiter?
Yeah. Do I get a sticker? Do I get a sticker?
Is it a meadow with ducks? or is it a meadow with ducks?
I thought it looked a little hokey there, David.
All right. So
what are you trying to sell here?
So here's the famous picture of Jupiter, right? And then 2.5 years later, NASA comes out with this. It goes, hey, we found the northern lights on Jupiter. Look at these northern lights. Aren't they amazing?
Not kidding. This was NASA released.
This is NASA released this, and they said those are the northern lights.
The sprites.
And that proves
we
that
covered
it has
them.
Yeah. But if you overlay these pictures, every single cloud is the same. You see this little wispy cloud right here?
I see what you're.
There it is.
That's a little
it's
weird.
the same exact cloud, right? But meanwhile, NASA will show us something like this, just a couple hours or days time lapse, and you how could that possibly be the same thing?
Well, we know
I definitely don't think
Photoshops.
what's NASA selling us isn't accurate. I mean,
we know they are Photoshop masters for sure.
Right.
But
I mean,
to Holly's question, do I think
actually-
they're sentient? Sure. Yeah, I do.
I do too, and they're all named after gods. So that's interesting. Here's the Space Force logo, right? What does that remind you of?
Star
Does it
Trek.
remind-
Star Trek, right?
Starfleet, Star Command.
Right.
So they're literally predictive programming and mocking us at the same time.
and we have Guardians
Okay.
of the Galaxy.
They are the Guardians of the Galaxy, guys.
So
They're
you guys
Homo
know about Werner
Spacians.
you know about
Yes.
Werner von Braun and his
Yes.
gravestone, right?
Yeah,
So his gravestone talks about the firmament, right? So
Yes.
that's
I've
weird.
seen
But
that.
did you know that Werner von Braun wrote a book in 1950s called Project Mars, right? And it's about a group of people that went to Mars and started a colony. And the leader of that colony, do you want to guess what his name was in
It
this
better
book
not
from
be
the
Elon.
1950s?
It
It's
is.
Elon.
Oh
It's Elon.
no!
Yes.
Oh,
Wait,
no.
And so
Not my
and
guy. That's
this
my
is
guy.
Elon's Mars rocket. This is Elon's rocket that he wants to
Well,
go to
look
Mars
at that.
in.
You know what? It's funny. He
Okay.
gave an interview a minute ago, and he was like, "Yeah, we need to make it pointier at the top." He said, "I just think
Yeah.
it'll look cooler."
Right. So this is predictive programming, mocking. The whole Elon thing was planned. Elon is a moron who doesn't run any companies. Okay.
A
He doesn't run-
Dogecoin to the
listen.
moon, guys. What is wrong with you?
Listen, he is a puppet, and the fact that he did that thing with Bitcoin the other day makes me nervous.
Hey,
Okay?
I bought a bunch of Bitcoin way before this happened. I was like, "Woo!"
Good for
Have
you.
you held on to it?
Good
Right?
for you.
Oh yes.
Yeah, don't let it go until it hits 1 million.
Well,
Right?
to the moon, right?
Good for you.
Yeah. To the moon, which is only like a few miles away, by the way.
Yeah.
And it's
Question
flat
on
too,
that.
right? Is it
Question
flat or
on
no?
that, the
No, it's
moon.
not flat.
Here,
The moon's not
here's,
flat.
here's the two pictures of the moon taken at the same time, one from the north and one from the south. This supports my idea that the
Those
moon
are just
is being
inverted
projected
pictures?
into a. Well, they're inverted. Is that because we're upside down? Right. That's what most globers would say.
Uh-huh.
Right. One of
I
them's
see.
upside down. But if I drew a 6 on the ceiling and went to one side of the room and you were at the other side of the room, one of us would see a 9, the other one would see a 6. So
This is true.
again, it works perfectly on a flat Earth with a low ceiling.
Question on the moon and the sun. Do you guys think they are discs, or do you think they're balls, like globes? What do you think they are?
So I'm going to show you some pictures of the moon right now, and you got to really quick. Is this a sphere? Is it? Well, that was kind of tricky, hard to tell. You only see half of it. Is this one a sphere? The second one, is that a sphere? Girls, real quick.
That looks like a sphere.
I
This
think
is
it's
like
a
one of
sphere,
those-
David.
That looks
All right,
spherical.
it's-
Yep. See?
Flat.
Oh man.
It's flat.
that.
How
You
about
got
this one?
me.
Is this one a sphere? Is this one a sphere?
Oh, it's going in.
Watch. It'll
It's
be
a cup. Right. It's
Is
concave.
any one of them a sphere?
So is this one a sphere? Yes. So here's the thing. We don't know what we see in the sky.
Yeah.
The optics of the sky, we're seeing distant lights. We don't know what they are. When there's a new moon, how come nobody can see it? No one has ever seen the new moon in less than like 42 hours after it went new, right? How come during a total solar eclipse, the earth shine, a full earth, isn't lighting up the moon like the moonshine when there's a full moon lights up the earth?
Yeah.
How come nobody can ever see the moon when it's new?
I got a question. Holly, I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut it.
Yeah,
I do have a question though.
Because I got to let in the next caller. So is this the same question, or I'm gonna?
What? Oh, this Holly, we love you. Are you still there? Thank you for calling in.
Yeah.
My question is, okay,
Thank
how
you
did
for calling in, Holly.
How did
Eratosthenes.
Yeah, how did he calculate the circumference of the Earth using shadows?
Because it's a lie. The entire Eratosthenes story is a lie. It didn't happen. No one's ever done it, and it doesn't prove anything. Yeah. So what's
they can't do it that way? Oh, well, look at this guy is ready, man. Look
what's the sphericity of this floor? This one has a shadow. This one doesn't have a shadow. So if I measure the distance between them and measure the angle of this shadow, I can tell you the sphericity of this flat floor. Okay. It works the same on a flat Earth with the sun, a small local sun over this, and then there's a shadow over here. I can measure the sphericity doing a calculation of this flat floor, right? It works the same on both a ball Earth and a flat Earth with a small local sun. Go ahead.
The calculations work the same whether the object is very large and very far away or very close and very small. It works out the same way. It's assumed that it's very large.
Welcome to the show, Real Red Pill.
Right. And when would you ever assume the light rays are coming in parallel? Have you ever seen parallel light rays come through the clouds?
Yeah,
I never have.
Yeah, that's weird.
Probably not. I mean, I have seen, not parallel.
You've never seen parallel rays coming through the clouds.
That is true.
Trust me.
Fact check, true.
Yeah.
Is he still connecting?
His audio's, I think it's connected
I'm putting
now.
what questions I
can. Welcome to the
conspiracy.
Welcome to the conspiracy couch, Real Red Pill.
Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for calling.
This is I apologize. It's the first time I've ever used Zoom, and it's new to me. But hey, what's going on, Mark and David? Yeah, they might know me from the past. It's been a while since I've talked to either one of those gentlemen. But I just wanted to kind of point out there for the audience that might be new to the topic that when this topic graces your mind for the first time, everybody seems to always have questions about how does this or that work. But if you realize it, and I'm sure that you ladies might, you can tell me if I'm wrong or not here, but if I can prove to you that the Earth is a flat plane of existence, do I have to prove anything else?
I'm gonna have questions regardless.
Sure. Yeah. Yes,
I
don't want to stop there.
Never-ending questions.
I think my basis for understanding everything, I think, is so abstract compared to most people. I've had such very deep spiritual experiences, and my understanding of our Creator and our world is I don't know, kind of profound, I guess some would say. So that's why, to me, I mean, I've had an experience of seeing, for instance, this is what it comes down to for me. It's real simple, one sentence, right? So, a flat line is not sacred geometry. So to me, our Creator is sacred geometry. It's in everything. I've seen it, okay? And then the flat line thing just doesn't equate with the sacred geometry. To me, that's it. There's no, that's why I can't really wrap my mind around. It's not that I'm opposed to the flat Earth. It's just
the Earth is a circle on a flat plane. It's not just a flat line. And if you look at the what are the lines in the Earth called? The energy lines.
Latitude and longitude?
Ley lines?
No, the ley lines.
Yeah.
They line up crazy. They form like a flower of life, right? There's some sacred geometry in this Earth.
On the flat Earth model?
On the flat Earth model. You gotta look at the ley lines laid over a flat Earth model. It's literally the flower of life, right?
Well, here would be my claim would be reality is real, and any sort of model or whatever we learned on television has nothing to do with reality. So if somebody asked me, how does the sunset work? I would say, well, let's go outside and see how it works. And that's reality. You got to realize, ladies and gentlemen, that the entire existence that's ever been documented throughout all 6,000 years of human history, according to the Bible, is already dependent on a flat stationary plane of existence. And even NASA, with their Trident Flight Research Center, also admits this. And my point is, if I'm going to make the claim, listen, you've been lied to, there is no space, there's no space travel, there's no satellites. If there were satellites, we probably would have used them in the military, but we don't. We use air warning and control systems and J-stars. There is no magical teleportation of beams to this magical second law of thermodynamics violation. Now, does that mean I have to tell the little kids and old, grandparents how the sun and moon work. No, and Jesus even tells us in the Bible, if I can't have you understand the things of this earth, how could I tell you about heavenly things and you understand? So there's a huge separation here between the things of this earth on this plane of existence, then opposed to the heavenly bodies that are above us, which are just out of this world. They are literally heavenly. Now, I can also say that you don't even know anybody that even has a claim for adjusting for earth curvature or spin. And that's the real crux of this argument. There isn't even a claim, let alone model. If I were to ask you to go look up the globe earth model and tell me how high I have to go above this so-called model to see the curvature of the earth, you can't find an answer. So there isn't even a theory. There's no science behind it. This is a metaphysical satanic religion that goes back about 2,500 years that has destroyed the minds of men and women. Now, I'm not telling you what to do, but if I tell somebody that I own a Dodge Ram, I don't have to tell them how the gasoline got in my truck or where I bought it from, which was built at Chrysler Plymouth, in 2002. I don't have to give them any of that other information. I can just tell them this is reality, and how we can see things from this plane of existence is also reality. So I don't have to explain anything besides the fact that the earth is a stationary plane of existence, which is something everybody can test. Nobody can test the sun, moon, and stars. The sun is not testable, and it's not a star. The stars that were made after everything else in creation, after the sun and moon were made, are not testable. We cannot touch them, see them. We can't, we can see them, but we can't feel them. We can't test them. We can't measure them. They are to be in awe, right? That's God's creation. Now, as far as sacred geometry is concerned, I think we're trying to look too far. It's like when you're looking at your television when you were a kid playing Mario Brothers and you sat up and looked really close and saw a bunch of dots. Well, those dots don't matter. What matters is the general screen when I'm trying to move my character about the flat surface in even a video game. So not only do they not even have a claim for a globe in reality, every single simulation is also based and dependent on a flat stationary existence. And that's just how the entire world already runs. If you're interested in anything else, my channel is the EXO of the RO, and I've been doing this for about 6 years. I'm a photographer. I have a couple little nice shots of the flat plane of existence. But even when you talk to a pilot, they will admit to you that everything they do is based on a flat stationary plane of existence. Rather, they have an excuse to tell you, oh, it's because of this, or because magical regravity makes up for all of our inconsistencies or non-understandings about reality. It's a man-made construct. You see, they told you that you were living on this ball, but in reality, you've never experienced it. So there isn't even a claim for this heliocentric religion.
What about the pilots that fly in air globes? Do they think the earth is flat too?
I find one, David. Show me one. That would be, you know what I mean? Like, you can't find one. You can't find anybody in the military. You can't find anybody that's used a radar. Everything's based on LOS, which
I was making the point that airplanes fly over the earth. Planes.
Right.
Why are they called that?
Right. Why would they call them that?
Hey,
right.
Real quick, have you ever seen the flight route from Santiago to Australia? It goes all the way up here, all the way over, and all the way down. And if you want to go to Western Australia, check this out. They go all the way up here. They go all the way over to Europe and Dubai, and then they go down. And they call that the Great Circle Route. But when
I thought that there were flights. There were some Southern Hemisphere direct flights. Were there not?
So they're not. This is the direct flight. It goes all the way up, across, over to Europe, Dubai, and to Western Australia. It's a straight line. Now, on the flight, they'll tell you that you're going south and you're hovering, around Antarctica. But we tracked the flight. We had a guy on a flight, Max Eigen, who's a globe earther, and he did compass readings. And the compass readings.
Max Eigen?
Max Eigen.
It's Eigen, not Egan?
Eigen. Max Egan.
He's a flat earther? I didn't know that.
No, he's not a flat earther.
No, he's not.
Oh, okay.
He's not. But he wanted to prove that the flight existed, because we didn't actually believe that the direct flights existed, but we found out they did, and we did a live stream with him on it, getting on the plane, getting off the plane. We had the live stream running nonstop. We tracked the plane. Where they said the plane was, it made no sense, but his compass readings make perfect sense on here. And on the app, if you click "What about Southern Flights?", all of that documentation is there. It's stuff that you won't find on YouTube.
His readings were different than what they were showing as the flight track.
Right. He was heading like north when they said he was going south.
Real Red Pill, do
Right,
you have a last comment you want to make before?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of deceptions in flat earth. Don't make a mistake about it. You know, Satan uses everything he can to deceive. So he's going to show you this flat earth, and then he's going to try to entice you into something else. And it's all designed to get you away from the Bible. More importantly than anything is the word of God, which is true. And this proved that the Bible was always right for thousands of years. And it was we that were lied to. And then we either found out this information and we repented and realized we were wrong, or we continued to worship our own pride.
Well, I
Real
am
Red Pill,
definitely
thank you
with
for
you on the
calling in.
J train. We love you. Thank you
God
so
bless.
much
Have a
for
good one.
giving us
Have a
the
great
ring.
evening. Okay.
All right, let me see.
Why does it keep asking
Guys,
me to
any
report?
thoughts on the mud floods? We have a special request from our friend the Kate Awakening that would like to know your thoughts on the mud floods. I personally am a big fan of the whole mud fossil thing. What do we got in here? Alfredo.
Oh, hello, ladies.
up?
Hello,
Welcome to the
everyone.
couch, Alfredo.
I'm a fan.
Go ahead and
of
address
there
the mud
was
floods.
A worldwide mud flood, or at least partially worldwide flood. You know how they tell us if Antarctica melts that everything's going to go underwater, but if
Yes.
Antarctica was this little ball, this little island at the bottom of a ball, how can that little thing make all the big oceans of the world rise? But if Antarctica is what we say it is, it's bigger than all of the oceans and all of the worlds. And if it melted, we'd go 200 feet underwater. The entire oceans would rise by massive amounts. Okay. But that little island isn't enough to raise it a couple inches. Right.
Even if the ice sheet is, what do they say? It's like
200
miles.
feet. Yeah, no, 200 feet or
2
how
miles.
deep is the ice?
What, the ice in Antarctica?
Yeah.
It depends where you are.
All right.
I mean,
So-
it's
so,
well, no, it's
so again-
2 miles. It's way.
I was going to say,
it's very,
I
very
swear
deep
I
when you
read
get up
that
there.
somewhere. Yeah, there was extremely thick, and that it was actually pressing down on the,
Right.
the land
Yeah.
beneath it, and that it would.
But if this is Antarctica, and forget the green, if this is all frozen, that's a lot of ice.
Yeah.
That's a lot of water. And then, I did a talk with Sophia Smallstorm called The Outward Flow of Civilizations. You can just look that up on YouTube on my DITRH YouTube channel. And it talks about how the sun may have moved out. And when it moved outwards, it melted all of the ice out there, caused a mud flood, and a whole new world moved out here. All the Aztecs and Mayans, they're all living out here now.
Sean Joe says Antarctica was not always covered with ice.
That's right. There's maps of it not covered in ice.
Yeah.
So that may have been when the original sun that was here moved outwards, and then a new sun was born in the middle.
Early versions of this
Under a
place,
star. Sounds a little biblical, doesn't it?
A little bit.
Hmm.
kind of like a sandbox.
Alfredo?
Hi,
Okay.
welcome.
Oh yeah,
Well-
Alfredo.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I wanted to ask about two things. One of them is a kind of astronomic. I looked on a telescope to Venus when it was allegedly 90 degrees between the sun and the earth, and it had the same phase that crescent moon.
Right. Its
shape.
phase is like the
So-
moon. Like it might
Yeah.
be a moon.
So it might be spherical or circular at least. And the other thing I wanted to ask you was, did you look into the electric universe theory? They say they agree with the idea that electricity overcomes gravity, and maybe the only force is there electricity. So
we agree with the
Well,
electric universe.
I'm
but
on
they
board
just-
with
filling the
that,
spheres,
They think it's a
yeah,
ball.
yeah,
They
yeah,
think
right?
it's a ball, and we think it's
Yeah.
flat.
Yeah.
But we're all on board with the electric universe, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, you
think
think it's
Mark-
an electric flat.
And
Planet-
the electric company
Yeah.
on
So
PBS.
check this out. This is a balloon at I think
Morgan
like
Freeman.
80 or 100,000 feet, and over here is the sun, and it's fluorescing the gases in the sky, causing daylight. Daylight and sunlight are two different things. So nitrogen fluoresces blue, and that's why we have this blue sky. Over here, we have complete total darkness, right? Without a barrier, because the electricity can only go so far. It only lights up a certain area of the world. So it's completely nighttime, pitch black down here, and daytime over here across the flat plain.
Where's that picture from? What perspective?
About 80 or 100,000 feet from a balloon.
Okay. In what location?
I don't know. If you go on, it's from the Dan Dimensions channel. He has a whole bunch of balloon flights, and shows you how different gases fluoresce in different colors, and it
That's
shows you
true.
sunsets and how we're seeing these different colors and stuff. It all makes perfect sense on a flat Earth.
All right, Alfredo.
Obviously on the flat Earth.
What
All
was your other question?
No, the second question was about the electric universe. So they're both answered, I guess.
Well, thank you for calling.
Thank you
Thanks,
for
man.
calling, Alfredo.
I'll still be a sphere guy for the time being.
Well, can you give me one reason you think the Earth is a sphere? Just one.
Well, I still haven't checked out the mathematics for the flat Earth.
We don't live on a math equation, but you can check out the mathematics. But when people say they still think we live on, hey, Dave, you made a lot of great points, Mark. Yeah, but I still think the Earth is a ball. Can you give me one reason? Well, no, but I still believe it. Right? That's literally where we get. I mean, one.
Yeah. It's
Look
a
at
big
Lara,
leap.
She's got the flat Earth bug. It's stuck in her head.
Idea, but I'll give it a good.
Don't look at it,
run.
man. Don't think about it.
Yeah.
Alfredo, we see you kind of regularly in the chats. You let us know if you make the leap, okay? You check back in with us and let us
Right.
know.
That's with
keep
you,
us
Alfredo.
posted.
Don't do it. Don't do it, man. You'll end up like
Alfredo,
us.
where are you located?
In Argentina.
Argentina. All right, say hi to Iru.
Yeah, we got a lot of people in Argentina.
We got big flat earthers down there.
I want to go to South America.
Oh,
That'd be cool.
Yeah, we're big down there.
Iru
los esperamos.
Landucci. What's his YouTube channel? I always forget the name.
I can't
Did
remember.
we not
Renata
see him in the
Todos.
chat earlier?
You might have been. Iru, you in the chat?
Iru, you in
I-
Say
chat?
hi to your buddy.
Oh no, maybe it was Airto. I saw.
Yeah, that was Airtel, not
Okay.
Iru.
I knew I saw something with an E and an R at some point.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
thank you for calling, Alfredo. Have a
Thanks.
wonderful
Much love.
evening.
Happy to be here. Bye.
They asked, the chat asked your guys' thoughts on the Schumann resonance. How does that vibe with the flat Earth theory?
Human resident?
The Schumann resonance, the resonance of the Earth.
Yes.
I believe
it-
that we're connected to the Earth. I don't believe that people can live in what we call outer space. That we have to be connected.
We
to
are
the Earth.
vibrationally
Okay.
matched
We're
with.
within this electrical system, and we're all part of it. It's all part of a living force.
How do you reconcile all the secret? Okay, and I'm not being a smartass here. Okay, this is a legitimate question. I'm trying to understand. How do you reconcile all the secret space program whistleblowers? Because I can't think of one person that's come forward and blown the whistle and said, "All right, guys, I've seen it. I've been up there. You know what I mean? It's all a scam. It's flat. But you've got a ton of people that say they're getting memories from being in a secret space program, and they've been on other planets and met aliens and shit, and So
I'll give you my 2 cents on that. This is testimony; it's not evidence, but it's interesting. You got to believe somebody sometime. But here's the thing: if you took a globe earther who's never heard of flat Earth and a flat earther who's done a ton of research, and you brought them up to, let's say we can get up to 300,000 feet, that high, and they look down, the globe earther is going to see a globe, and the flat earther is going to see reality. Right? Because we see in a circle. If I can see whatever distance I see at 12 o'clock, at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, I see the same distance. That draws a circle, a flat circle, and then our brain, our programming will see a sphere.
okay, I see what you're saying.
I've talked to astral projection people, and before they got into flat Earth and then after, and before they went to other worlds, but after they got into flat Earth, they went to other lands. And I thought that was very interesting.
Right.
It was
that's-
because remember,
it's
that's
possible.
all their brain could process, because flat Earth was not even a concept to them.
If you
Right.
showed someone this picture and never mentioned flat Earth to them, they might see a sphere. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then you
Perspective,
look
huh?
at it and you can say, no, this is a pond surrounded by ice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm tracking you. I mean, I'm definitely
How do
tracking
they?
you.
Okay, so
That with all the
here's-
mind wiping and everything else, I mean, who knows, man? And we do, our mind has to wrap its mind around what it sees in the only way that it can translate it, right? Sorry, Foyle, go ahead.
Well, Mark, I remember you saying something at the beginning about how you had people come to you when you first started, when you first posted the clues.
Yeah.
And you had government people and whatnot. How are they keeping all of these people quiet? all these scientists,
they're
all
not.
these whatever.
They're not.
All right. There's two parts to that question. The first part is because a lot of people are going to say, well, this is too big. It's so big that too many people would know. It's like, no, this is so big that you lock it down to where
compartmentalize.
This is the best need to know thing ever. Like Antarctica. Antarctica is a perfect example. It's like there's a reason why no corporations are down in Antarctica forever. And that's because they just don't want to take the chance. It's like, you know what, we'll just keep it military scientists and some military down there, but that's about it. 99%, David will agree with me with this, 99% of the NASA people don't know anything. As far as the military, the people that were contacting
we agree
me,
with that for sure.
The military people that were contacting me and the pilots and the air traffic controllers and all the other, and there's a playlist on my channel with all that. They were just agreeing with the Earth being flat. They weren't whistleblowing. They were just saying, yeah, from what we can see with our instruments and our observations, it's flat. They were not coming. I have not had anyone from aerospace break ranks.
That's what I mean. What about somebody that's been to space that has come and said that?
500 military guys?
What about the Russian astronaut that in a news, he was on a news show and he was just fed up. He was having a bad day. And he goes, I could assure you, nobody's ever been to space.
Yeah.
And didn't he say the Earth was flat also?
Yeah. Well, I had a chance to talk to an astronaut.
A year ago.
I had a chance to talk to Terry Virts a couple years ago. And the host asked me, are you calling Terry a liar? And I said, no. I go, look, he's a colonel. And you got to remember, the guys that go up there, they are high-ranking Air Force officers.
Right. Yeah.
I go, he's a colonel in the United States military. You don't get to go that far without keeping a secret. He's not going to tell you anything at all. So no, getting those
calling him a liar.
Guys, the what?
So you were calling him a liar.
Well, I was saying, look, he's doing his job. I go, right. Because if he says anything, it's different than if we lie. If we lie, we go to court, we get sued.
Right.
If he lies, he gets treason and he gets locked in a room and they throw away the room.
I interviewed David Rodriguez, David Nino Rodriguez. He's a pro boxer. Yep. And he was at an event and he was talking but was it Buzz Aldrin or? Yeah,
I saw that clip. I saw that clip.
And Buzz, he said, hey, Buzz, he got him alone for a minute. He goes, Buzz, I know you never went to the moon. What's up? And Buzz looked at him, smiled, patted him on the back and goes, you're a smart kid. And he walked away. Right. There's another story about Neil Armstrong where what's his name wanted to interview him, the CSETI guy. The guy that's always
Stephen Greer.
Greer wanted to interview him, and he was trying to get him through another guy, mutual friend. I'm not a fan of Greer, but the story, and again, I can't verify it, is Neil said to the guy, he goes, if I grant you this interview, they'll kill me and my entire family.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well,
reinforcing that question from chat you posted. So are we riding on a big turtle? What's the bottom of flat Earth? I do the same thing David is. And it's like, look, science dug the holes, right? If science can only dig 8 miles and you're asking me what's down there, it's like, I don't know what's down there. We can only drill down 8 miles.
Nobody knows.
I go, but sorry, real quick. I circle back just real fast. And that is
circle back.
Oh no, we have another circle back on our hands.
No. Do I believe that you could put us a civilization underground? Yes, I do. Do I believe it's the hollow earth theory? No. But could you put a civilization underground? Yeah. I mean, we have underground military.
Well, do we know how thick the flatness is? How thick the flat planet is?
7.6 miles. We just can't get through that last tenth of a mile.
So close.
Yeah.
So it's not floating in space. The best way I can describe it is it's the basement of the universe.
There you go.
We don't know. We don't know.
I mean,
I like that. I don't know. Like, I think that's a good place to be for many people.
It's clearly
then you're
hell.
open to learning.
It's clearly hell.
It's clearly hell. That's the only answer.
It's legit. It's weird. You guys got to admit.
I think it's more of a school than anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it can really only be one of three,
I could
three
see
things.
that.
It's either entertainment. I don't buy that because not everybody's having a good time.
Yeah, it's a school.
If it's prison, that's an awfully nice prison in a lot of aspects. I mean, but
depends on perspective, though.
Right?
It kind of feels like it. We're here to learn something, and then we go off and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's just me, though.
Well, gentlemen, I know that it's getting late for you, and I told you I wouldn't keep you past an hour and a half. Poor David, this is his second interview back to back, so
I know,
he's going
guys,
on like 4
this was
hours.
so
This
much
is my
fun.
5th interview today.
Oh
did
my
not.
goodness! Look at
What the
you.
hell
He's a
happened to
machine.
5, and
He's
I
a
did a
flat earth
3.5
machine.
show with one of them was a
Right?
3.5 hour show with Jaron and Alex.
Wow.
Really?
That's why I can't talk.
That's why
Holy
you come prepared with all the slides
smokes,
and whatnot.
man.
Like
Man,
that's next level, dude.
Wow.
All right, so final words. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, so we are doing final words, upcoming events, shows,
if
anything
you
like
want a
that.
promo, yeah, hit it.
Yeah. So real quick, for me, this is how I support myself. You want to support me? It's the best $3 you ever spent. Check it out on Google Play and Apple. You have to have operating system 8.0 or higher on Google, and iPhone 6 or better. Read the reviews if you're unsure about spending the $3. All right, take the app challenge. Try to get your Bitcoin. It's a great tool for waking up family and friends. And if $3 wakes up a family and friend. And by the way, this week is International Share the App with a Friend or a Family Member Week.
Oh, look at
So
that.
you can gift it to your family members
You're
because
making that up.
No, it's actually a real Hallmark holiday. There's cards in the store. Go check
It's
it
a
out.
thing.
And one of the stories, this is a great story. I got, people that are awake to the flat earth, people that are awake to things, they're surrounded by zombies because everyone's asleep. And this one guy says, he goes to work every day and he's just surrounded by zombies, but then he gave everybody the app and now they're all awake to the flat earth. So now every day is a meetup for him. Every day is a flat earth meetup. It's like the greatest thing ever. So Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. You can find me at theflatearthpodcast.com, the Flat Earth Podcast on Instagram, the Flat Earth Podcast. What's the
Everywhere.
other one? Flat Earth Podcast.
All your links are in the description too, down below.
All
you
right, they're
guys.
there. And the other thing is use your brain, think, don't believe, and don't let cartoons rule your world. Okay?
Amen to that.
Don't
sir.
be infected with cartoons.
Oh, I see what you're doing there.
You guys, we have more in common than right. not, and that's what's making my eyes kind of tear up is it's all love. I see your passion and fire. It's the same thing I see in myself. And it's just for us getting to the truth of things and understanding our world better and not being conned anymore. And I don't know. It's all love,
This was so much fun.
Yeah,
I thought this was
really
great.
was. This was
the best
cool
one we've done by far. I'm so psyched we had you guys on here.
Yep. Mark?
Yeah.
Last words?
I support myself through a 976
plug
phone
me
sex line that caters to both men and women. All God's children. I'm not joking.
All about equity, right?
No, none of that is true at all. Well, mostly not true. No, I have you can find me on the documentary Behind the Curve on Netflix and all the other fine streaming providers. I have a couple books on Amazon. All you have to do is type in Flat Earth Mark Sargent. I do a podcast on Tuesday nights on TFR called Strange World and all the other fun stuff that I do. Really, you know what? Just go into YouTube, type in Flat Earth Mark, and you'll find me. But seriously, there's so much content. There's so many great channels out there. I'm not even going to begin to touch on them all. We've been doing this for 6 years. And we have a huge presence on social media. So
yes, you guys do.
You will find us sooner or later.
I want to say quickly thank you to all the mods. You guys did a great job this evening. Thank you so much. It was your Flat Earth crowd was joy. I didn't see anything that caused me. It just seemed like we kind of scarily fit. Our crowds kind of fitted right in together, which they all seem to be very loving people.
Thank you guys.
It's a pretty happy group.
So yeah,
I'll tell you.
Thank you so much.
It's because we're very tolerant to people that have unrealistic beliefs.
Like the Mars landing today.
Right?
Oh my God.
Oh, hey.
Did you guys see the memes? Did you guys see the memes?
The whole thing was a meme.
Oh, they got Bernie with his mittens out there. They said, look, there was memes going around. The first picture of the rover. They had one with Bernie with his mittens. They had a couple like Trump ones with Mr. T dancing and the cat doing this. And oh man, it's lit.
She loves the memes. It's all about the memes.
We love playing those on Space Force News.
So one of my friends said his daughter came home and she goes, yeah, we watched it in class. They wheeled it into class again.
Of course they did.
And he said, and he's awake. He goes, did it look real or did it
look
look like
real?
animation? And she said, it looked real. I'm like, did they send another spaceship behind it to film it? Because
Who's taking the pictures?
South Park would reject what we saw today.
Yeah.
Okay?
Quit lying to
It
us,
was
NASA.
Right?
Ugh.
That's funny.
unbelievable.
Are we doing, guys? I put up a Bill Gates video today. That was my most recent diatribe. Please go check it out. That's the end of my.
Our Lord
Yep.
and
Our
Savior.
next show is Space Force News on
Yes,
Sunday
of
night,
course.
6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. We like to make space science, tech, defense, and disclosure, UFOs, and Space Force fun. So, yeah,
Woo.
come check us out. Flat Earthers, you're welcome too.
Yes, please join.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thank you
So
guys
just
so much.
Think outer space across
Outer.
the plane.
Yeah.
The secret
Outer.
propulsion program.
Am I
We got
The secret propulsion program. What is that?
Extraterrestrials from the outer space.
Yeah.
It's all here. They're not coming from trillions and billions of miles away.
I get it. I totally get it.
We didn't even
Yeah.
talk about parallax. That's all right.
Oh, we will happily have
Yeah.
you guys back.
I think
on at
we're
some
gonna
point
have
if you're-
to.
if you want
Yeah,
to,
if you
right?
guys are down someday, we're gonna have to have you back on just for
We'll
fun.
come back.
This
That would
is so
imply that
fun.
I like you as people.
Yeah.
And I don't really.
All right, thank you guys. Have a blessed evening. Good night,
All right,
everybody in the
thanks.
chat. Bye.
Much love.